Looking at the first year from Luka Doncic, we looking at a player that won the Rookie of the Year award. But most importantly, what we like to talk about is what should we expect from Luka Doncic this coming 2019-2020 season. Looking at the numbers, how do those numbers stack up against some other famous rookies? If I say the numbers 21.2 points a game, 7.8 rebounds, and 6.0 assists, do you think of Luka Doncic? What if I give you the numbers 18 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, and 7.3 assists? Do you think of Luka Doncic? Who do you think has the better numbers? Turns out Luka Doncic has the better numbers. And which were the lower numbers? A rookie Magic Johnson. That's right, Magic Johnson's rookie numbers, with the exception of 1.3 assists per games that were higher, all the other numbers from Luka Doncic were higher, and that includes points per game and rebounds per game. Let's look at the assist numbers. So Magic numbers, assist numbers were higher in his rookie season. Did you know that the year before Magic Johnson joined the Lakers, that was a 50-win team, and it had the most valuable player of the league in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? On the other hand, the Dallas Mavericks before Luka Doncic joined the team was a 24-win team. What is interesting to point out is, yes, the assist numbers will be impacted because you may not be surrounded by good players, but that previous year, the Dallas Mavericks did not send any players to the All-Star game. Yes, Dirk Nowitzki is a future Hall of Famer, but Dirk Nowitzki basically played in what we found out later on to be his last season and retired with grace by knowing that his game was declining. He understood it very well, and when Luka Doncic joined the team, it did not get a shadow of what Dirk Nowitzki used to be. So again, that may explain some of the assist numbers. Another thing to point out about what the 2018-2019 season looked like was a team that basically traded 4 out of the 5 starters before the trading deadline. So here you have Luka Doncic, who does play the small forward position, but is more of what they call today a point forward. So he would be playing sort of a point guard position without actually being the point guard. So all 4 players that were around him were traded. And they brought players from different teams like the New York Knicks, etc. But the point I'm trying to make is that it is very disruptive for a rookie. It is very disruptive for a team. Yet they still won 9 more games. When teams don't like to admit that they're tanking, but they still won 9 more games. And he put up those kind of numbers despite this shakedown of the team, if you will. Looking at the signature moves for Luka Doncic, the one that is most recognizable is his popular step back, where he doesn't really try to dribble particularly fast. So even if he's driving into the paint, you don't see someone who has a great deal of speed. Somehow he is able to make it into the paint, and this is what draws defenders to give him a little bit of space. And guess what happens when they give him space? He'll take a step back to get even more space and be able to drop a long-range shot, a 3-point shot or such. Another thing that you see is that he is a pass-first player, and you would say, well, looking at 21 points a game, he looks like a shoot-first rookie. Well, if you look at his game, those points come in as a result of now they're trying to look at who he's going to pass to, and then now he has a one-on-one or a situation where he got in front of the defender and no one tried to collapse the defense, and he goes on and scores. One interesting fact about the step-back shot from Luka Doncic is that he basically was using that signature move from day one, from game one. And it's a move that he worked on before he even joined the NBA. So at the age of 19, he already had this move down. Who's the person who could arguably be called the person who uses it more, perhaps, and known for it? That would be James Harden, the bearded prophet. However, if you look at James Harden, he didn't develop that step back until probably 5 years into his career. So half a decade into his career is when you start seeing this being used on a regular basis. So then again, for a person that's using it at the age of 19 versus someone who's half a decade into his career. So Luka Doncic, having had a historic season, If we look back and see what other rookies had a season that compares to Luka Doncic, well, we were talking about Magic Johnson. Well, a better comparison in terms of numbers would have been two basically Hall of Famers today, Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson. Those are the only two other players that had a comparable historic rookie season as the one that Luka Doncic has had. So it's a little bit tough to put a rookie in the position of future Hall of Famer. And there's been many careers that have been derailed for many reasons. Careers have been derailed. But if we know that he continues to progress at the pace at which we saw during his rookie season, we would no doubt see the likes of Luka Doncic as one of those players that will be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. So what to expect from Luka Doncic in this second season of his? Well, there's a few things to expect. First of all, he's going to be surrounded by slightly better players with the addition of Kristaps Porzingis, and what we've seen on the drills and practices that he's already taken place which is showing, at least it's a little bit hard to tell until you really see a player in a game, is looking like it may be the Kristaps Porzingis that we've seen play when he was playing for the Knicks right before he got hurt, that he was basically playing at an all-star level. That would be a very exciting player that will surround Luka Doncic with more talent. Another thing to expect from Luka Doncic is something that we've seen from his rookie season, is basically his basketball IQ. If you look at a rookie that doesn't make too many mistakes, is very focused in trying to help his teammates. He is pass first, and he seems to always find the open person. That is a definition of high basketball IQ, elevating his teammates and trying to look for the team first rather than his individual statistics. That is what defines Luka Doncic. We've seen one season of Luka Doncic doing what he's done, putting the numbers that he has, but one thing that many people take for granted is the need for Luka Doncic to be able to take over a game, especially when a game is on the line.
Got it. In the corner, Luka! Goes in! How did he do it? How did he do it? That is Luka magic!
And that is the definition of clutch. He knows that a game is on the line, and doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to do the scoring, but he's going to try to put the ball in the hands of someone who may be open, whether it is on the perimeter or someone who is running after a pick and roll to try to do a slam dunk. So a lot of plays where he knows he has the better chance of getting the score to win the game. So that is very significant, because that killer instinct means that is a player who has good basketball maturity. The other thing that we look forward to, and as I mentioned before, that he's going to be surrounded with some improved players and some players that hadn't played with him before, like Porzingis. The most exciting part about him playing with Porzingis is we know that Porzingis can play at an all-star caliber level. And if Luka Doncic can elevate his game to not be denied the all-star game like he was in his rookie season, then we're looking at two possible all-star players in the same team that would be exciting to play. Now, we compared Luka to Magic's numbers at the beginning of this video. Could we be comparing Porzingis to Kareem-like numbers? That will be the topic of another video, but we could be comparing what a Magic-Kareem duo would be in Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. This is Hoops Imagined.